If you've just found this video and you would like to make this dress yourself, then the pattern can be found in the description. So this is the dress that I'm going to be making today. It's like an A-line V-neck maxi dress. I'm going to be making mine in cotton today, but any kind of mid to lightweight fabric with some drape is good for this project. Woven fabrics, so cotton, viscose, linen, anything like that. So before you're ready to start this tutorial, then you will need to make sure that you've downloaded the information pack in the downloadable files and you've worked through that, because that will explain how to print your pattern, how to assemble your pages together. It has a size chart so you can select your size, and then it will tell you how to cut out your pieces. And then once you've done that, you'll be at the stage that I'm at now, and that's with all your pieces cut. So these pieces that you see on the screen right now, these are the pieces that you should have cut. The other things that you will need for this project are, some lightweight fusing, and we're going to go around and put some iron-on fusing on a few points in a few moments. Either one of these, which is a loop turner, or if you don't have a loop turner, then you can use a small safety pin just to help you turn your straps through. You'll need a sewing machine, some pins, scissors, and then an overlocker if you have an overlocker. If you don't have one, then it's not a problem. You can use a zigzag stitch or an overlocking function on your sewing machine. So once you've got everything ready, then we're going to start sewing. So the first step is to iron some iron-on fusing to all the points that I've marked on the screen now. So I've cut strips of fusing that's around 2 centimeters wide, and with my iron on a medium setting, I'm just ironing it onto all of them areas now. You can also buy pre-made fusing tape, but if you just have some iron-on fusing like I do, then you can cut the strips yourself. So next at your overlocker, we're going to overlock around the curved edge of each one of your 4 bucket bags. Take your front pieces and lay them out, and at the notches with the right sides together, we're going to pin a pocket bag at each notch, and then we can repeat for the back pieces, again making sure that you're joining to the right side of your fabric.
And we're now going to top stitch the pocket bag to the side seam with a 1 centimetre seam allowance. So now we're going to overlock down each side seam separately, and then also the centre front on your front pieces and the centre back on your back pieces. Next, we're going to take all of your pocket bags and fold them to the outside and then press them with your iron. And here where you've got this fold, we're going to top stitch on the pocket bag side about 0.2 centimetres from the edge. Next, take your upper back pieces and we're going to overlock the centre back point. Now we're going to join your upper back and your lower back. So match up your sides. So this is my center back, this is my side seam, and then we're going to join this seam here. So it's a curve, but we can just pin it together and then stitch it with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. So overlock the seam allowance, and then we're going to press it downwards. Next, we're going to join the centre front seam of your 2 front pieces and the centre back seam for your 2 back pieces. So take one of your pieces and lay it so the right side is facing up, and then we're going to lay the other piece on top with the right side facing down. And then with your iron, press your centre front and your centre back seams open. So next I've taken my 2 back facing pieces and I've overlocked down the centre back of each one, and now I'm just going to join them with the right sides together. I'm going to join the centre back with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. And now at your overlocker again, I'm now going to take my back facing, I'm going to overlock the side seam and then along the lower edge, which is the longer curve. Next we're going to work on your strap, so take your strap and fold it so that the right sides of the fabric are facing each other, and then we're going to sew directly down the middle to create your spaghetti straps. So this is 0.5 centimeters from the edge. And then we're going to trim your seam allowance in half. And now we're going to turn this strap through the right way. So I'm using a loop turner. If you don't have a loop turner, then you can use a very small safety pin or even a hair grip like this. And what you can do if you're using the hair grip is create a little cut here, and then you can put both sides of your hair grip through, and then it's going to be able to allow you to push it to out the other side of itself. So I'm going to use this loop turner, but yeah, use whatever you can find. And it can be a little bit fiddly, but just have patience. So once your strap is ironed, then we're going to fold it in half to find the center point, and then cut it in half to create two straps. Next, I've taken my front piece again and I've laid it so that the right side is facing up, and I'm just going to pin a strap at each strap point, and then I'm going to lay my facing over the top with the right side facing down. And then we're going to stitch the front armhole and neckline with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. we want to make sure that this curved neckline sits nicely when we turn it through. So to do that, we're going to cut notches into the seam allowance. So to do that, we will just cut in as close to the stitch line as possible without cutting through it, and we're just going to go around and do that all around the armhole and down the center front points here, and then we're also going to cut off the excess at the strap points to remove the bulk. I'm also just going to cut into these corners a little bit more. So now you can turn your face into the inside, and if at any point it looks like it's pulling slightly, then you just need to cut some more curves into that area. This center point here, this sometimes can be a little bit tricky to get to sit nicely. So if it's pulling at all, then just make sure that you're cutting in really nice and close to this V here. And that's looking like it's all sitting nice. So now I'm going to understitch my facing. So to understitch, we're going to be stitching on the side of the facing, just a couple of millimeters away from this stitch line here. And we need to make sure that you're catching your seam allowance in underneath the facing side. So my seam allowance is sitting towards the facing, and then I'm just going to stitch close to that seam. You won't be able to get all the way up to this point here where the strap is, so just get as close as possible and then stop your stitch, and then you can restart a new understitch row of stitching on the neckline. So that's as far as my machine's going to allow me to understitch, so I'm going to stop there and then move to the front neckline and repeat.
And just make sure that your seam allowance is sitting towards the side of the facing.
We're now going to join your straps to your back, so you're going to need your back facing piece also. So I've laid my front side here and my back side here, and then I'm going to take each strap and make sure that it's not twisted, and then I'm going to loop it round under, and I'm going to pin it to the notch that is on the back piece. So those straps are looped round, and then we're going to take your back facing piece, and with the right side facing, we're going to pin it on top. So lift the strap up out of the way, we're going to go through the strap and then pin it across, so that when this turns back inside, then your strap will be sitting straight between the front and the back piece. So one more time, just for clear reference. So this strap is coming over the top of your facing first of all, and then it's tucking underneath, and it's sandwiched in between your back and your back facing piece. Now we're just going to stitch this top back with the 1 centimeter seam allowance. So we're now going to join the side seams. So I've laid my dress out and I've pinned together the front facing to the front at the side seam. So this one is going to be treated as one layer. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the back piece, and with the right sides together, we're going to fold it over on top of the front piece. But for the time being, lift your back facing out of the way. So we'll just ignore this for the time being, and we're just going to start at the back outer piece, and we're going to pin it together down the side seam, around the pocket bag, and then to the hem. So I've now turned this over to show you what we're going to do with this back facing. So your front and back pieces are joined at the side seam, but your back facing has been lifted up and out of the way for the time being. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold this back piece over the front, and then so it kind of creates a sandwich so that your back facing is the top layer and your back upper piece is the bottom layer, and all of your front pieces are sandwiched in between. And then we can pin that together, and then we're going to stitch the entire length of your side seam, but we're going to stop 1 centimeter after the pocket bag joins, and then we're going to go around the pocket bag and then to the hem. So now I recommend trimming these corners just to remove the bulk. This is the top of the side seam, and repeat for both sides. And then when you turn your back facing back over to the back side, then your side seam will be finished nicely on the inside. So now I'm just going to press all of my side seams . I'm also going to go along and press the back facing inside. Quite a lot of fabric with this dress, so it can be a little bit difficult to control. So to help this back facing sit in toward, like stay sitting in towards the inside, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my dress over, and with my machine I'm just going to really carefully do a couple of stitches into this seam here. So it's called stitch in the ditch, and then that's going to make sure that this facing is always staying inside, and the stitches are not going to be visible because they're going to be within the seam. So the final step is to hem your dress. So you've got two options here. You can either go around and press with your iron 2 folds, so one 0.5 and then 1 centimeter, and then you can stitch, or you can go and overlock the entire hem and then fold it once 1.5 and then stitch. I'm going to do the overlock version. dress, then give it one final iron and you are complete. So I hope you've enjoyed making your Mona dress. If you have any questions at all about any of the steps, then feel free to reach out to me. The best way to contact me is on Instagram. And please share your creations with me because I absolutely love to see them.